today. Jesus. Struggle bus. Struggle
Yeah.
bus. Anyway, we already chatted a little bit about the live, and basically we were talking about the bungalow. So cocktails by the pool, we got saved by Bare Bones Tiki. Um, they had a little bug juice, and Nani was telling us the backstory on that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then what was the next thing that we saw? There was like really cool bands by the pool, which were
Yeah.
awesome.
The bands were really good. The market was pretty good too. There was a lot of different vendors, and I think they needed a bigger space because some of the vendors were in like the rooms and things like that, but that wasn't necessarily part of the aesthetic. They just ran out of room as far as space for the vendors. But there
And
was a
just
lot
so
of
you
cool
know,
things. Mhm.
last year they put all the vendors inside that one tent.
Well, that's why I'm saying I heard them saying that the reason they had them in the rooms is because there wasn't space. So it was great. I loved seeing people's different, things for sale and their goods, and it was great. I really enjoyed the market. I personally didn't purchase anything. Nia did walk away with a few items that you guys will hopefully be seeing soon
Hold
on the
on.
walls.
Hold on a sec.
Um, mhm.
Oh, here. Sorry, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah. I just making sure. I'm like paranoid. Are we off? I got kicked out with my mouth open. If you got that picture, enjoy. Shit.
But yeah, I was just mentioning how you got a couple new cool wall pieces,
Oh,
art pieces.
yes. For the crew quarter. Look what I got.
Isn't that awesome, you guys? It's amazing. It's resin. It's really cool. The video doesn't do it justice. It's so pretty in person.
And it's like 3D. So everything you see, it's like on top of each other, so you can
Yeah.
really see all the details in person. That's one thing I got for the cruise quarters. I got this really cool mini barrel that I almost had to fight a guy for it.
Oh, I forgot you got the barrel.
Get away from my barrel. And of course he's like, oh my God, I was just about to get it. And then he dropped this and broke it. And I was like, Marianne, Nani was like, oh, ask the lady for a discount since it's broken. And he's like, here, I'll fix it. And he just jammed this so freaking hard. It
Are
was
you going to show them the
hilarious.
other piece too, or is that going to be revealed with the crew quarters?
No, let's do it. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! If you have not ridden Pirates of the Caribbean, you're not going to get this. But this is the pièce de résistance.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
really cool. Like it in the video, it's hard to tell, but it's got really cool greens,
Yeah, the
reds,
coloring.
blues.
So
Yeah,
awesome. And
yeah,
I
it's
can't
awesome.
wait. I can't wait to hang it. So it's gonna be a busy weekend for me setting up the background on the cruise quarters and stuff like that. So yeah.
Can't wait.
But I did do a little reel with all the videos of the bungalows. And the great thing about the bungalows is that usually they partner with either a tiki group or sometimes like a rum company and then somebody else. Like for example, the first one was Bare Bones Tiki. Um no, the first one was Donku with the Luau lads, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the bar that was serving the drinks was actually what's this place called? Hidden something. Hi Sean, welcome. And then how are those drinks? The Donku, do you remember? Or do you want to start with Bare Bones Tiki?
I'm trying to think if I remember Donku. Did
Probably
we?
not because that was our last one.
It was literally the last one. Bare Bones, I remember because it was our first one. It was really good. We each got a different one. Mine had some sherbet in it, which was amazing. Yours, I don't remember what was in it, but I tried yours, and they were both really good. They were both
Yeah.
amazing. I could have just stayed in that bungalow for the rest of the night.
And we're
I
giving out some stuff. So the first person to comment Bare Bones Tiki is gonna get this pretty cool lanyard. Look at it. Look at it. So it has a pretty strong class, but it's really cool because it's from the Hukilau. It has Bare Bones Tiki, the Hukilau, and then yeah, it was Camp Tiki Wachi, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So giving this away. So first person to comment. And the cocktails are, I think those were our favorites too, right?
Yeah. Those were out of the bungalows, their cocktails I believe were my favorite. And then we went to, was Dirty Dick's next or was Exotico one next?
No, Dirty Dick is a tiki bar in Paris, which is crazy to think that they flew over here.
Wow, yeah.
It was Dirty Dick in one bungalow with collaboration of Ramora or something like that. So
Mhm.
Ramora had one cocktail, but Nani doesn't like cinnamon, and they did the show where they're like spreading the cinnamon with the fire. Like it looks really cool, but when she went to go grab it, I was like, you
Yeah.
don't like cinnamon. That's gonna be covered in cinnamon.
Yeah.
That one was good, but I think the
The
better
effects
ones.
were better than the drink for my personal tastes.
Yeah, for sure. But then the ones from Dirty Dicks, those are really good. And I actually got a pin from them, which was really cool. And then I was telling them, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to visit you. I don't know if I can bring it out. Let me see. Well, anyway, it's a really cool pin, and their logo and everything. It's kind of like 80s style, right? Dirty Dicks, it's like all like neon colors,
Yeah.
really like straight writing. It was great. And
Although
their
I will
sign,
say I thought it was kind of funny that their sign for the bungalow was
that's what I
just
was
a
about to say.
handwritten on cardboard thing.
Yeah, just covering the number of the hospitality room that they were in. What did it
Yeah.
say, dear? Was it bad party, amazing drinks, or like worst party, best drinks, or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was worst party best drinks or something like that.
Yeah, so that one was super funny, the sign. And then we went to the best decorated one, right? It was, which was Exotico, which is a tiki bar in Miami. But Headhunter Props did the room, and it was literally like an immersive experience. It felt like a
So cool.
jungle. And
Yeah.
then he had these giant tiki heads that he had carved out. I was looking at his Instagram today because I wanted to send him a message. If you're not familiar with Headhunter Props, he does a lot of props for private bars, also for local bars here in Florida, and he does stuff for movies, which is amazing. He hand carves a lot of stuff, or he like basically builds structures, which is really cool. So excited to see if we could potentially work with him for the cruise quarters. So so excited. That's why
Yeah,
I was so
that
excited.
bungalow was amazing. So cool.
And apparently he had also like the roping that was on
Yeah.
the ceiling that kind of looked like vines. There were ropes that he had wrapped in something else, which was crazy.
Creative.
Super creative. Super,
Mhm.
super, super creative. Okay. What was the next theme that we saw after that? Oh, the Donku.
Donku was the last one.
Donku was the last one. And that one was really cool decorated. It was like all seaplane. It was like a seaplane crash had happened, and they were
Yeah.
all dressed in like captains or stewardesses outfits. There was like netting hanging from the ceiling. Some people were given the life jackets, and some people were floating with them in the pool. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
There was a guy in the pool that had that life jacket, and he's the one that started the "Where's the rum?" chant
Yep.
by the pool when the bars ran. Well, the first batch of bars ran out of rum. Because I guess this year they did it a little bit better. So my experience last year by the pool, it was they had the same bars the entire day and night. This year they had 4 bars at the beginning, and apparently they took a break, and then another 2 bars came on, right? But they
Mhm.
also kind of ran out pretty fast, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think not even 45 minutes maybe.
And I don't really remember those drinks.
Cuz we didn't get any.
Oh, no, we did. Did we not stand
No,
in
the
line?
only ones we got was the purple ones because those two guys had them. We
Oh,
didn't
that's
we didn't get any.
Oh, those were really good. I'm glad I got that recipe. So stay tuned because we'll have to remake those. They have ube syrup that makes it look like a very purple drink. Um, yeah, it was great. It was fun. So apparently we technically crashed it but didn't because we did end up volunteering the registration desk. So we did work from 10 to 3, right?
11
And
to
then
3, yeah.
11 to 3, and then they give you a wristband and they let you hang out, which is super super nice. So yes, the tickets were expensive. Their basic tickets started at $149, and that includes the drinks, includes the bands by the pool, it included the market, and then it included the bungalows at night. And the thing is, um, this year compared to last year was a little bit different because last year they were serving drinks like all day at the pool and then all night at the bungalow. So there was a lot of people that were pretty drunk, including myself. So I think that's why they also kind of like tapered down stuff. I remember this guy when we were dancing by the pool, like a group of us, he fell on me and then another lady. Like we almost like the three of us almost fell into the pool because this guy
I
was
thought you were about to say that he fell into the pool.
no, no, no. The only reason he didn't fall into the pool is because he fell on us, and I kind of like pushed him back. Because you know how. So this is the crazy part. They stage everything very close to the pool. So when people are dancing, if somebody gets a little bit crazy, somebody's going in the water. Luckily, we didn't see it this year. No,
Yeah.
except for that bandman member, but he specifically jumped
He
into the pool,
willingly
right?
jumped.
Yeah, and he was in a full suit. If you want to check out the pictures, you can go to the Hukilau's Instagram. They have a bunch of really good pictures there, but it was pretty cool. Um, some of the ticket holders weren't very happy with what they got,
Yeah. I
um,
mean,
which is understandable. We were,
yeah, the tickets are not cheap. So given that it's an alcohol event, for them to be running out of alcohol really early and then, not having any kind of backup plan was a little
yeah,
disappointing.
yeah, for sure. So, would you recommend doing it again?
I would do what we did again,
Yeah,
volunteering for a few hours, maybe like depending on how it is next year, if it's going to be those like break times in between the alcohol, maybe we volunteer then and not and not when all the fun is happening. Um I personally probably wouldn't pay for it unless, it's maybe at a different venue, although I love the Beachcomber, maybe if it's at a different venue that can
yeah,
accommodate the people and can accommodate the vendors properly and, just accommodate things better. Everybody says that Pier 66 was the best venue. Lots of air conditioning, lots of space, separate rooms for the symposiums,
yeah.
which I
And
guess
as
a
far
lot of
as I
people were
understand,
upset about that too, is that they paid for the symposiums, but then other people were getting to participate for free because it was in a public space.
yeah, and that's another thing that they could definitely do better next year is control a little bit of the entrance of everything. Because even I was having to be the bad person and kick people out of the VIP's lounge because I had food, and so you had a wristband, and I basically was being the bad guy.
I mean, I don't blame the people who paid for VIP for being upset
Yeah,
that people who didn't pay for it were getting the same perks that they paid significantly more for.
yeah,
They
for
paid,
sure.
4 times what a person paid for the day pass, and they were all getting the same perks. So
Yeah.
I definitely don't blame them for being a little upset.
Okay. Well, congrats, Sean. I'll send you the lanyard. Just message me your address. We're gonna keep on giving away some other stuff. What should we do next? The sunglasses, so we can
Yeah.
be matching.
Yeah.
So these are some really cool Clement glasses. I don't even want to open the packaging because I want it to go fresh. So if you want to win these sunglasses, comment Clement on the chat. They're pretty cool. Let me tell you, they're UV protection. So hey, you can't lose, right?
And they're pretty sturdy, they're good quality, they're not like cheap rinky-dink glasses.
Yeah, they're this great plastic. Can't go wrong with that. But they were giving out little stuff like that. If you do comment Clement on the chat, I will send you this and the pin for Clement so you can have it. I've become totally obsessed with the pins because I put it on my room diaries Glencairn holder now, and it's really cool because every time we go to like a conference or we go to like a rum event, people are like, where did you get all those pins? So like when we go to these events, they're on the trend of giving away pins, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Anything else that caught your attention? The vendors were super cool. They had a lot of stuff that I wanted to buy. Obviously,
Yeah.
limited resources and not trying to go crazy, but they had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, the vendors, yeah. Everybody had really unique things. There was this one woman who was selling these beautiful floral headpieces. We were so tempted to buy some. Although I loved the bands. Although I will say I did get on stage, y'all. It was funny.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I will say they were listed as fire dancers on the program, but they literally just came out, held fire torches, put the
and
torches
then
out, and
left.
then danced. They didn't
Yeah,
actually dance with fire at all, which was a little disappointing. I was
yeah,
expecting Polynesian style performance, like Mai Kai used to have. So that part I was like, oh, that was a little underwhelming. But
yeah, for sure.
but I did enjoy that there was a lot of different bands. Unfortunately we didn't get to see, what is it, Jimmy Skinny
Oh, Skinny Jimmy and the Stingrays. They're a
Stingray,
local
yeah.
band, so if you're here in Florida, you can definitely catch them. They're really, really good. They're kind of like surf rock too.
Mm-hmm. So
Um,
we did get to see the Disastronauts.
that was
We
so
did get to
fun.
see the Hula Girls.
Yeah,
So
Nani got to
maybe,
learn the Hukilau.
yeah,
The Hukilau.
I got to learn a little bit of hula dancing. But I think that because they had the symposiums going on, they didn't have the bands like coinciding, which I understand, but again, that's probably why a different venue would be better so that you can have bands all day and not
Yeah,
have to be listening to some guy, give a class or whatever. Well, people are trying to enjoy the pool and have a good time and listen to music, but they
yeah.
can't because they can't have the bands on while the symposium's going on because they're right next to each other. So, again, just maybe a little better planning as far as venue management for next year, especially because it sounds like this one was a little bigger than most people were expecting it in as far as, people, amount of patrons, amount of vendors. And I guess a lot of the bars weren't too happy with the setup um, this year as far as being poolside and that it was very rudimentary. But
But that's how it was last year. That's why I'm so confused as to why they were having so many issues when they were stocked last year. I don't know. I did notice that last year there was more rum brands present
yeah.
to man the bars. Hi Bruna. Bruna's in the chat. Hey
Hi,
Bruna, we're
B.
recapping the Hukilau that we went. We're doing a couple little giveaways, so make sure you stay tuned because we are giving some stuff. Yeah, that's why I was so surprised. And I get people's frustration, and then it was also extremely hot outside, right? We ended
Mm-hmm.
up we ended up enjoying the pool too, which was cool, at least for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was good that we at least got to enjoy the pool for a bit. Um, like I said, if anything, I would probably volunteer either earlier than we did or later than we did, just so we can actually, because we literally missed the bulk
Of the bars, right?
of everything, of the drinks. We didn't get like I said, the only reason we were even able to try one of the drinks was because two patrons, one guy was leaving and was double fisting, had to happen, excuse me, had happened to have another drink in his hand, and he gave me one. And a couple of other patrons we were just hanging out talking to, and his buddy came over and handed him a drink, but he already had one, so she got to have it. So if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had any of the drinks at all. So
At least that one was pretty good.
Yeah, I would have been upset if it was the only one we had and it had been horrible.
Luckily, the bungalows did make up, and we were sometimes even triple fisting after the bungalows because we were going around so fast.
Yeah, with Dirty Dick, I definitely, because they had 3 different drinks in there, so
Yeah,
I definitely had all 3 in my hand at one
I
point.
know. We had to sit outside. Outside of the bungalows, they had these really comfy chairs that you could sit out.
Oh, and how could I forget the silent disco? That was so much fun. I'd never
Yes,
done that
the
before.
last one. The last one was Silent Disco by Tiki
Santa
Tiki.
Teresa.
Yeah, it was Santa Teresa, but with another tiki bar. I think it's called Tiki Tiki Speakeasy or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, they were giving away these amazing rugby Santa Teresa polos. They had a bunch of
Oh, I
T-shirts.
forgot my shirts
Oh shoot,
at your
yeah,
house.
it's okay. You can come get them another day. I'm gonna put them to wash though, or no, probably not, right?
Uh, I mean, don't shrink it.
Okay. So yeah, we had a blast. It was so funny. At the end of the night, the guys from Donku were going around with like a legit beverage cart full of the Luau Lad stickers and Donku, and they were like with a big what is that called,
A megaphone.
a megaphone saying, "We apologize for your flight delay and your flight issues," or something like that. But here, enjoy this cocktail, and they actually gave us some little nips or samples of their new Donku Naranja, which hasn't come out yet. This is brand spanking new, so super excited to try this. Which is pretty awesome that we were able to get it.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions on the chat, would love to hear from you. I also have some tiki pins to give away. If you want one of these pins, actually, I'm just going to give away both. So if you look at these are pretty cute. They were giving these away. Um, so just comment in the chat tiki pins and I'll mail it to you. But it was a great experience. Definitely, if we're in town and available, let's definitely volunteer again. It was a blast. It was a blast meeting a ton of people.
Yeah.
We saw our friend Sergio. He
Yeah.
was emceeing the event, he was hilarious. We saw John and Missy, the Rum Travelers. It was
Yeah.
great to see them too. We actually worked with John quite a bit. He was helping us carry some pretty heavy boxes. So shout out to John for all his help at the registration desk. What else? What else happened? Oh, their mug. Their mug was pretty cool. The mug was $139. I'm sure if you go to the Hukilau's Instagram, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
What did you think? This was your first Tiki event, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about everybody, how they dressed?
I'm happy that most people came dressed for the theme, dressed, in the hula tiki theme. That was really fun to see some people's outfits. Um, Everybody seemed ready to party, and I totally get that some people were a little upset that, things weren't necessarily meeting expectations. But I really enjoyed working the front desk for a little bit, meeting a lot of the people. As much as I don't like working customer service because, we're technically the face of it, even though we don't work for them.
Yeah, it
Um,
was hard.
yeah, so we're having to front the complaints and things like that. It's like, people, we're just registration. We're not like check-in desk. We're
And
not,
we're
you know what I mean? Like, we
volunteers.
don't
And
work
we're
here. Like,
volunteers.
so it was a little hard to navigate that because a lot of people were like, "Well, where is this? What is this? What's happening?" And I was like, "They literally gave us no information. We're here to get a name, check you off a list, and keep it moving."
And the other
Um,
thing is, like, it seemed like there was some information online and other information when you looked at the schedule. Like, there was a lot of like different information because
yeah,
remember how many people were approaching us and they were saying, like, "Oh, where's the beach party?" And we're like, "What beach party? There's no beach party."
and that's the thing because the schedule said there was a beach party.
Yeah.
and yet there was no beach party. So I don't know what that was supposed, because it what people were saying like, oh, that's supposed to be the bungalow party. No, it listed two separate things. It listed beach parties and it listed bungalow parties. So I don't know what the beach parties were supposed to be, but because it said pool party, beach party, bungalow parties.
Well, I think it's because maybe they were considering the silent disco, the beach party.
I don't
I
think
guess because
so.
it was next to the beach, but it was in a completely different area. It was underneath a little cheeky hut, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about the silent disco. Was so much fun. So once we finished all the bungalows, everybody's like, "Oh, make sure you go to the silent disco." They put on headphones, and the DJ's playing three different
Mm-hmm.
songs or genres of music.
Stations, yeah.
Yeah. And then you tune in. And based on the station that you're tuning into, you're listening to different songs and everybody's headphones lights up. So if you, let's say we started with Blue, for example, and they were playing like surf rock. And then if you would go to Red, it would be like 80s, like Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson. And it's funny because everybody's dancing and singing, but you only know that the other person is basically listening to your same song because of the color of your
Yeah.
headphones. And you couldn't hear anything, right?
No, I was telling Nia that I wanted to know what headphones these were because the noise cancellation was real. You couldn't hear anything. Even if you had it off and just had the headphones on, you could hear nothing. And I was very impressed. It was a lot of fun. I'd never been to a silent disco or anything of that nature, so it was different, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did it back in the day on the cruise. That's the only reason I knew what it was about. It was still pretty fun too, even though we didn't have that many stations.
Yeah.
Sean, I'm not gonna open it because my liver's still recovering from the weekend. But when you message me through IG and you send me the address for to send you your bare bones tiki lanyard, I'll send you one of these so you can try it and you can tell me what profile you think it is. But it's naranja is orange, so it's probably going to be like a little bit of an orangey rum, but it is a clear rum as you can see. So it shouldn't have that much. It says 21% alcohol by volume. And I'm assuming it's their traditional white with maybe like some flavorings of orange, right?
Mhm.
But that's it. That's all I have for tonight. Definitely recommend if you can volunteer,
They're
do
always
it.
looking for volunteers.
Yes,
Even
desperately.
up until Saturday, they were still looking for volunteers. You know, it's a big event that needs a lot of people. So you're getting essentially $150 worth of events and things like that, or if you volunteer for more than one day, you're getting however many days worth of events because you get the Aloha Pass, which is not the highest VIP, but it's the next one down. So you're not getting like a low level pass. You're getting a
Yeah.
really good pass that gets you into a lot of stuff. We just happen to do the one day because it's the one day we wanted to go. So
And that we could
volunteer is a
work.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sunday, I know they had a brunch with Spike
Mhm.
from Spike and the Breezeway, which looked pretty cool. The symposiums were really, really interesting. Don the Beachcomber was there, which she's like a legend in the tiki cocktail world, which is really cool. I was kind of geeking out, but I unfortunately was not able to meet him. I was just like, Nani, there's Don. And I'm sure she's like, who is that? So I'll show you later. But he basically created a lot of the famous cocktails besides Trader Vic's. But remember the place that we went to in NOLA, Latitude 29?
Mhm.
He's the owner of that.
Oh, okay. And then who was it? Somebody was telling us that the original Don the Beachcombers were coming back.
Yeah, so they're gonna open up one in Tampa. So make sure you hit the subscribe button because we'll probably have to make a trip up there and check it out.
You know, I'm always
Great
down for
thing.
a good road trip.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is um that Marie, that used to be the food and beverage manager at the Tonga Hut, which, if you're not familiar, is the oldest tiki bar in LA. She's now going to be working for Dawn because remember I introduced her to you,
Yeah, she's the one that
and
mentioned about them
yeah,
reopening.
yeah. So super excited to have something like that, and I think it'll be great competition for the Maikai. Because let's be honest, the Mike guy has great cocktails, but the food was slacking. Every time I
I
would go
mean,
there,
with all the new ownership and upgrades, we'll have to check it out once they reopen. I think somebody said they're shooting for October, which is right around the corner, so hopefully
yeah.
soon.
Well, with the amount of money that's been pumped into that restaurant, I think it was like something like 5 million or something. I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
expectations are high.
Yeah. But I'm just hoping with everybody that's been involved, they've been able to restore it because it had a lot of water damage. That's what it
Mhm.
was.
Yeah.
And the roof collapsed, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bruna,
Bruna.
they had a lot of issues and they actually closed a little bit before COVID. And then obviously COVID happened, which halted all the productions and stuff like that. And then now they're hoping and planning to reopen later this year.
Yeah, they've been closed for a couple years,
Mhm.
which has been pretty sad, but that's pretty much it. Very excited for that. Very excited for Don the Beachcomber. Really excited to potentially go again and do the volunteer work and have fun. Um, that was a blast. Also meeting Blue Eye Thai. It was great to meet a lot of people from this rum community, tiki community. Please, if you ever see me, please come say hi. I love meeting people in person. I also saw a couple of the luscious ladies. Um, my old friend Ramona. I haven't seen her in like decades almost. But it was great. It was great bumping into people. Their outfits were spectacular. Like it's a complete different experience when you go
Yeah.
to these kinds of events. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Highly recommend if you can come down here. There is a lot to see. I just think there's definitely some things that they could improve upon, especially scheduling wise. There's a lot of confusion. There's not
Yeah.
a good breakdown of what's exactly happening on each timing. Like we keep like last year they did bars all day. This year apparently they did a break between the bars in order to have people switch, and I guess the symposiums were going on there to stop the band. But then when
Yeah.
they restocked, when the two new bars came over, it's like they were also pretty low on drinks quite fast, which was very surprising. So maybe
Yeah,
just a
I don't
couple.
understand what happened there. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if they underestimated how much they would need for a shorter period of time, knowing that they were going to have to go on a break, and just completely undershot how much alcohol they would need. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened.
Maybe. And the other thing I heard is it was so hot that people constantly had to be running out to go get ice and running towards ice and getting ice and stuff like
I
that.
mean,
So
we were watching over the VIP lounge. We were indoors in air conditioning, and our ice buckets were melting quicker than we could refill them. So I totally
yeah,
believe that outside
yeah,
it was probably 100
even
times
worse. But
worse.
I would
Mhm.
think I remember last time, for example, Kirk and Sweeney, which is a rum company. Kirk and Sweeney was there, and I remember they had this huge ice chest where they were keeping stuff in there. I'm like, I didn't see a single bar with any ice chest there, which
No,
was
I didn't
really
either.
surprising.
Uh, Again, I don't know what happened there.
And
People
this
were.
year,
It was underprepared and overpromised and underdelivered. Unfortunately.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see the feedback in the Facebook group. It'll be interesting to see how they change next year. Because my experience was amazing last year and I got really lucky. I actually bumped into Dana, who I literally crashed the Hukilau last year and was just asking around if people had tickets for sale. And this wonderful lady said, yeah, my daughter no showed, so here's my ticket. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? And she like literally let me buy it for $50. And it was like the top VIP.
But you guys, don't recommend doing that. She was able to do it because access was a little more liberal last year. This year and moving forward, you can't even get onto the property unless you have a wristband or are checking in for a wristband. You don't have access to walk by the front doors even unless you're there for this event, in which case they're asking and looking for your wristbands. Me
Yeah,
and a friend of
because
mine tried to crash it from the beach entrance, and there was people that wouldn't even let us into the restaurant. So I don't recommend crashing.
Hey Paul, thanks for tuning in. I'm giving away some stuff, so don't forget we're giving away the Clement sunglasses with the Clement pin. So if you do comment Clement, the first person to comment Clement will get the sunglasses with the Clement pin. And then Sean did win the Bare Bones Tiki lanyard already. So congrats on that. We're gonna keep on giving away a couple of the little things that we got in our swag
And the
bag.
tiki pins too, you said.
Oh yeah, if you comment Tiki, you can get these pins, which are pretty cool. They have little Tiki heads on them. The first person to comment Tiki or Clement, I'll mail you this, which is great. But yeah, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did go, but like I said, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
expensive. The bungalow parties were great. It was great to enjoy.
I could see the price being justified if it was more like last year for you, where it was alcohol flowing nonstop,
Yeah,
the whole I'm paying $600 for this and for an alcohol event and you guys run out of alcohol by 12 o'clock. That's a
yeah.
little, I'd be really upset because not only are you paying 600 for the pass, but then if you're staying in the hotel, you're paying for the hotel rate if you flew in, which a lot of people came in from out of state. So a lot of people flew in. So it's just cost on cost on cost. And then you're running out of alcohol by 12 o'clock on a Saturday by the pool. I don't know. Like I
Paul is
said, I think what
saying,
we did was the best way to go about
yeah,
it, which is volunteering for
volunteer,
a few
guys,
hours
volunteer.
and you get in for free. And you set your hours. You don't have to work all day. We only worked a handful of hours. You don't have to work all day. And, depending on what they have you doing, you could just be replenishing snacks. You could be doing what we were doing, which is just giving people their bracelets and taking names. You could be doing all sorts of things. You could just be over by the buffet making sure the appropriate people are, in the
I
lounge.
know. I
So,
was the muscle for the Hukilau guys. Thanks, Paul. Paul is saying, I'm watching you guys over the heat. I must really like you. Thank you, Paul. I know we like you too, so we appreciate it. He's like, oh, so any swinger vibes? No, actually, it was quite chill this year.
yeah.
The crowd was actually a little bit on the older, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, I think it was the pricing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
With that
think
pricing, you
I'd
expect a
say probably
different.
like 67, maybe even 70%, maybe even more were probably over the age of like 55, 60.
Yes, and
So,
we're not lying. He's saying that he should have volunteered, and I agree, Paul. You should have come with
you
us.
were
I
here,
told you
you
we're
should have just stayed a
volunteering.
couple extra days.
Yeah, yeah, definitely worth it. But at least the crowd was pretty chill in that sense. We weren't like when it was you and I. We were just hanging out. It was very chill. I did enjoy that though, for sure. I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
because we weren't getting like harassed.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yeah, except for that one guy.
I don't even remember his name.
Yeah, crazy.
Michael,
Yeah, should have
maybe?
done the volunteer. Should have done the volunteering, Paul. We had a lot of fun. The bungalows. I was showing everybody that Donku was giving us little nips or samples of the Donku Naranja or Donku Orange, which we'll see. We'll have to try it. Did you open yours yet?
No, I didn't, not yet. We'll have to
Okay.
try, Paul, we'll have to try and coordinate next year if I'm in town. I usually travel around my birthday. And Hukilau is usually the weekend right before my birthday, so it worked out this year that I was in town, so we'll have to try and coordinate next year.
Yeah, and work Saturday because I feel like Saturday is the funnest day because there's more people, right?
And the bungalow parties and yeah.
Well, this year, that's another thing that changed. That's why I'm wondering if that's why they ran out of alcohol because last year they only had the bungalow parties on Saturday night. This year,
Yeah.
if you looked at the schedule, they had parties on Friday too, if I'm not mistaken. Here, I'm going to pull up the schedule real quick.
Yeah, I didn't think they did.
Yeah, this year
But
they did
even if they did, the
plan
bar
accordingly.
vendors were not the same as the bungalow parties, right?
Yeah.
So that's not an excuse.
Oh, no, no, no. But like for example, Donku was the one during the day and at night. I don't
Mhm.
know. I think they just removed the schedule. Shoot.
Oh, I mean it's on the it's on their Instagram page, I think.
Yeah, but I don't want to exit this because then we'll have
Oh,
another disaster.
yeah.
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see. Hold on a second here.
I was
Let
gonna
me
say if you're on a
go.
computer, you can log into Instagram from the computer.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh shoot. Hold on. Um, Sorry guys. Trying to figure it out. But yeah, I thought I saw on the schedule when we were looking at it for people because that was another question that we constantly got. Where's this? Where's that? Let's see. Um, yeah, even if you look at the pictures, like last year they had Appleton. So for sponsors last year they had Kirk and Sweeney, Appleton
Mhm.
Estate, Trocol, which was kind of like a liqueur. That one wasn't that great. Um, and this year is mainly just the bars and Donku, which was there. But they had some pretty cool bars, and then they had Dock Parks. Hidden Harbor had some really good drinks. They were inside the Donku, um, inside the Donku thing, which is pretty cool. I don't know why this is not letting me click. Oh, here. Because of course, as soon as I start looking through pictures, it's like, oh, you want to do this? You have to log in.
Yeah.
And I never log in through my computer because you can't do anything. Yeah. Um, which was interesting. Yeah, the company that did the silent disco was Tiki Tiki Bang Bang. They're out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
I like that name.
Yeah, Tiki Tiki Bang Bang. Very
I'll
cool.
be very curious if we get to go next year to compare. Because obviously, again, this was my first, so I didn't have any basis of comparison except for what Nia told me about last year's. And even then, your imagination can only go so far. So I'll be curious if we go next year or any year in the future to see what changes they make, how much of their feedback, of the people's feedback they actually listen to, and
Yeah,
see how
because
that
it was
goes.
it was definitely a lot different this year.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what
I was
everybody's saying pretty much.
yeah, I was really hoping that it was going to be the same. Like at least like as far as drinks by the pool, it was way different. Like
Yeah.
I remember going to the bungalows and then coming back to the pool because there were still people in the pool. Um, but yeah, one of the ladies that was working with us in the front desk, she was like, "Oh yeah, they've really tapered down the alcohol this year." I was like, "Oh, that's a nice way to put it." And of course, now I can't remember my freaking password. Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, pretty cool. What else, Nani? What okay, so what was your most memorable thing
Most memorable?
besides spending time with me? Just kidding.
Always. I don't know, each part had like its own little thing. Like I loved the bungalows, but then getting up on stage was for me who's not a stage person at all, and yet I am. It's weird. Like I used to perform in front of hundreds of people all the time, but still not a stage person. Um, that was kind of a fun experience learning the Hukilau dance. But I'd
Yeah.
probably say the bungalow parties were pretty fun.
Yeah, those were great. I'm trying to see the schedule. I seriously
Let's
think they
see.
deleted it, Nani.
From their
I'm
Instagram?
yes, I'm in there. Remember, it was almost like pinned to the top.
Yeah.
It's gone. As
Huh.
a matter of fact, all the pictures that I'm seeing are from last year, except for the guy in the pool.
Well, I know the Facebook page had a lot of pictures from the actual event, but I know that there are so much so that I was using their Instagram's picture of the schedule when
I
people
know
were
to show
asking us
people,
about it.
right?
Yeah, because there wasn't a printed schedule for us to reference, so we had no idea what was happening when. Which was weird because one of the patrons came up and asked for the printed schedule, and we said we didn't have one. They said, "Oh, really? That's weird. There was one out here earlier." So I don't know what happened to it. Somebody probably took it, or they ran out, which seemed to be the theme for the day. But yeah, I was referencing their Instagram page for the schedule because we didn't have a
Yeah,
copy.
I'm
So,
telling you, it's literally gone because I'm looking at their Instagram, and you can tell that it was an older crowd because the things that they were asking for, it was like older crowd requests, like a printed schedule. Who prints schedules anymore? Like, pull it up on your phone, go to the
but I
website or
also
something.
kind of understand as well because the online schedule was very vague and was not very specific as to like where to go for certain. It was the breakdown was very weird, and if you're not really tech savvy, and even for us younger folks that know how to work a computer and schedules, it was still kind of hard to read, to figure out where certain things were at what times, and it was a little busy. So for the older crowd, I can't even imagine how much of a hard time they were having trying to figure things out.
Yeah, there's literally nothing. There's
Hmm.
nothing here
And I felt
anymore.
so bad because I was telling people to scan the QR code for a list of the events because
I
that's what they
know.
told us. And
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was literally just a code to scan if you wanted to keep getting texted updates about things that were coming up.
which I don't know. That's kind of helpful because then you're like, oh, this is happening by the pool, and you
But
go.
even but
Because I
even
know.
those weren't like real time. I was getting one or two every
Oh,
here
you
and
did
there, but
it.
it wasn't up. Yeah, because I did it to
Oh,
see what
yeah,
other. Because I'm the type of person, I like to, if I'm telling people to do something, I'll do it myself so I can see
yeah,
what it looks like and can direct them better. So it's like I keep telling people to scan this code. Let me see what it looks like. So I scanned
yeah.
it, and it's literally just a link for you to get text updates. And so throughout the night, I got maybe a total of 2 or 3 text messages.
That
So
doesn't sound like a lot with everything going on. Did you get a
that's
text
my
for the
point. So it's
bungalows?
like, hmm.
Did you get a text for the bungalows?
I don't know. I could check, but it'll probably kick me out, so
Yeah,
I
don't
won't.
look at
But
it. Look it up later.
I don't remember getting one.
Because we met somebody by the pool, and this was their. Was it Catherine's second year or third year?
Second?
I think so. And she had never like she never knew about the bungalows until we told her about them, which
Yeah,
is crazy because that's such a big thing to miss.
yeah.
Because the rum companies and the tiki bars go crazy. They go
I do,
crazy.
however, wish there were more bungalows. I think having only 4 was a little bit of a letdown.
You think?
Yeah, I think there should have been more.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's um a lot of feedback. I'm gonna keep an eye out for the Facebook group. I definitely want to see what is being said and
Yeah, there's
if
a
they
lot of room for improvement, I think.
yeah, especially when you're charging that amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. That's my thing. If it's worth, I'll pay the money if it's worth it. But if it's not worth it, and being that we were at registration, we had a lot of feedback from people, and it was
Mm-hmm.
not positive. People were not happy.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad because I wanted to buy it based off of your experience last year. So
yeah,
I would have been really upset personally if we had paid for tickets and gone and it had been like that.
yeah, yeah,
I would have
for
been very
sure.
upset.
Yeah, and I almost did it, but then I can't remember who told me. Somebody said, "Hey, if you volunteer." Well, luckily Paul from Drums and Drums, thanks Paul. He invited me to the group, so I was snooping in there and I was like, "Oh my god, they're asking for volunteers. I'm sure if you volunteer, they let you stay after you
Mhm.
work."
Mhm.
So that was super helpful. That saved us a ton of money. But yeah, I agree with you. If I would have paid the 150, I would have not been happy.
Yeah. So I can't
Cuz it
imagine the people that paid over 600.
cuz it doesn't include any food. The
Nope.
day pass, no food. So think about the fact that it only includes liquor, the bungalows, the entertainment, which I know is a lot because the bands are really, really good. But the liquor wasn't even being served all day. There was like a huge break.
And so many people were in line for like an hour waiting for drinks only to then get told they ran out.
Yeah. So it's pretty bad.
So
It
I
was
would have
pretty
been
bad.
pissed. And
Yeah.
then we tried to get alcohol and they were like, "No, we don't open until 6." It was literally like 5:55 and they would not serve us early. And then we
Wait,
went
who?
and did
Where?
something else and then huh?
Where was this? Where was this?
Honu?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because we
Oh,
saw the
you.
bars. Remember, we saw the bars setting up for the second wave of the
Yes.
bars, and
Yeah.
then they were like, "We don't open till 6," and it literally was 5 minutes of. And then we
Well,
went and did something else real quick, and then by
and
the
then
time we
never came
came
back
back, yeah.
because we also
Oh,
had to
that's when. That's
eat.
when I think that's when we were waiting for Phil to come with the alcohol.
Yeah, because thanks, Phil. He ended up bringing us some liquor.
Because it was literally us coming back in from getting the alcohol from out front is when that guy gave me the drink, and then we ran into those other two guys that gave us the other drink.
Thanks, Sean, for tuning in. Yes, message me through IG. Or if you want to email me your information, my room diaries channel at Gmail. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's got to head out. He said he's got to run. Yes, Paul, I have been keeping up with the comments on the Hukilau group because we're both very curious. I even invited Nani to see what the comments are. Because like I said, we were there, we were standing, and we got some pretty bad feedback, I have to
I
say.
did like how people, as annoyed and upset as they were like, "I know you guys, it's not your fault, but I'm
Yeah,
really upset and I just need to vent it to somebody." Like,
yeah,
and most people aren't like that. Most people just see a face and they just lash out as if it
yeah.
was our personal event and our personal party planning that did it.
Yeah, it's
So
like
I
I'm
liked
not
that people
Mrs.
were upset.
Hukilau. Calm down.
Yeah. So like I liked that people were upset, but they didn't
Yeah.
they were like, what's the word? Like politely upset.
Yeah. Well, they were just, I guess, expressing the frustration about paying so much money
Yeah.
and then expecting one thing and getting another. It was interesting also interacting with a lot of the media.
Yeah.
Tell me, can we talk about that just for a little bit? There was people that were getting comp tickets and they were like probably worse than the patrons that paid. Tell me, right?
So anybody who was media was supposed to get the day passes, same one as we got, which does
Yeah.
not give you access to the VIP lounge. It's literally just the main stuff. You're not supposed to be getting into the classes for free. You're not supposed to be getting into the VIP lounge. They were totally abusing it,
Yeah, it was
which
pretty bad.
it's like you guys are already getting in for free. Like I'm the type of person that if I'm getting somewhere in for free, I'm asking for permission for everything. I'm not just going to assume I have access to everywhere.
Yeah,
So
it
that was
was
a
pretty
little
crazy.
annoying.
And they were upset. Remember that one couple and I was like, "Hey, you have to pay for the classes, not for free." And he came back and he's like, "Don't even worry about it." I
Yeah.
was
And then
like,
he came
"Okay."
back after the fact and was like, "Oh, is there drinks anywhere?" And got upset
Oh,
that he
that's
didn't have access to
right.
the VIP lounge cocktails and that if he wanted drinks, he had to go to the bar and pay for
No,
it.
and remember we kept on pointing people towards the pool. And he's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I thought you were telling me that the drinks were right here, and there's no drinks right here." And we're
And
like,
then he
"No,
got
that's
upset,
not
but
where."
it's like, it's
Yeah,
not our fault you misunderstood.
yeah. He's like, "Please give me like clearer information next time."
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'm like, "Well, good to know. Good to know. This is why certain media is dying because these people are like dinosaurs and
I
super
mean,
rude."
yeah.
But
And
the
I think some
staff,
people might have just said they were media, but weren't.
because that was another thing I found weird too. We weren't really checking IDs, so they could have said, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
if they knew a name.
Mrs. Hukilau and I get my 2 tickets." You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. I get that at a certain point too. It's just like, okay, just give whoever a palm pass. Like, just give
Yeah,
whoever a palm pass.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, but how do you know I'm not lying? Or, you know what I mean? Or that they're not lying. But
Oh, the other cool thing is the people that we met for plantation, the food and beverage manager. I'm so sorry I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
remember his
David and
name, but
Josh.
oh my God, you have memory. They were
I
telling
actually
us,
remember first and last name.
oh, don't even say it. But anyway, they were saying that they're going to invite us because they're opening up a new tiki themed restaurant, right?
On Las Olas,
On La
yeah.
Sola. So again, subscribe because we are going to these events. We're not missing out anything if we're in town. We're gonna go to these things. It's really, really interesting. But I literally don't have anything else. I also have some car fresheners. So if you like car fresheners, comment car freshener down below. One smells like peach puree from that company that does the syrups that you
Yeah,
add
the
to your
purees,
cocktails.
yeah.
I have this really cool one from the Hukilau. It's double-sided, so if you hang it on your rearview mirror, you'll see both sides. Comment down below and I'll mail it to you. Again, the sunglasses, comment Clement, and I'll send you the sunglasses with the Clement pin so we can be matching. I got a Hukilau sticker if you're interested. Comment Hukilau sticker. Some lip balms that have Hukilau on them too, which are pretty cool. With a lot of the artwork, which is beautiful artwork. One is coconut, and then the other one is nothing. It just says nothing. Oh, but this is see it says Hukilau too. I
It's
think because it was so
nothing.
hot. And then a quick first aid kit, same thing, Hukilau 20th anniversary, comment first aid kit, and I'll mail it to you. Sunscreen, last thing. Hukilau sunscreen, which is pretty cute. But
SPF
yeah,
30.
SPF 30. But that's all I have for everybody tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know in the comments down below if you're going to attend with us next year. If you are going to volunteer, heck, let's do it. Let's do it, baby. If we're in town, we got to do it.
Yeah,
But yeah, thank you so much for coming with me, Nani. I hope you had a fun. I'm
I
sorry
did.
there was not flowing alcohol as expected.
It's okay. Like I said, at least we didn't pay for it, so it
Yeah,
wasn't like a loss or anything, but it was a
yeah,
fun experience, something new to try and use as a comparison for next time I go.
yeah. Or maybe if we go to another tiki event, because there's a couple coming up in Orlando, and the tickets were only $30. So I don't know.
I'm
Might
down. I
have
know
to.
there's one happening in July that I probably won't be able to make because I'll be in Massachusetts with Bruna. Um, but if there's one that's, in August or something, I'm so down. Or end of July even, I should be back by then.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to the next rum and the next tiki or rum event that we go to. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.